Welcome to OkState Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad you decided to tune in. It was a glorious Saturday afternoon inside a sold-out Boone Pickens Stadium as the Cowboys took down the two-time defending FCS 1AA national champions, the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, in a really, really nice game. Hey, there were some things to nitpick. I think you could probably nitpick and say the secondary still busts too much. They give up too many long passes, of which we saw in the two scoring drives for South Dakota State. I think also, I know Ollie Gordon had a net 126 yards rushing, 134 total, then he lost a couple. And the Cowboys had a little over 160 yards total as an offense rushing as well. But I think you can nitpick and say the two things that you came out of this, and Coach Gundy even hit on this in his post-game, were, I think it would be fair to say Oklahoma State, if they want to make it to the Big 12 championship game and possibly a playoff scenario, of which we all hope happens this year. We think Oklahoma State has the type of team that can do that. For OSU to reach those goals, they're going to have to do better in not busting in the secondary, and then be better as far as controlling the game with the rushing game. But I thought Alan Bowman was simply fantastic yesterday. He went 24 for 30, 33, and at one time was 16 for 19. He distributed the ball to 9 different receivers. And then also, when you look at the big three, it was very exciting because of the big three: Deshaun Stribling, Brendan Presley, and then also Rashad Owens. Brendan Presley had the most amount of catches. Deshaun Stribling had the most amount of yards. Rashad Owens had the longest catch. So of all the big three, they all three led in one category, receiving. So that's obviously a good thing. That just shows you how well your quarterback is distributing the ball. And then South Dakota State, a team that wanted to come in and control the game with the rushing attack. How about first down-wise, rushing just 3 rushing first downs all day long for South Dakota State. Hey, again, I know that you need to not bust in the secondary as much as Oklahoma State did, but you got to be very, very happy with Oklahoma State's rushing game. And as a matter of fact, South Dakota State only had 124 yards rushing all day. And the way that they pile up their tight ends and their tackles and unbalance the line and pull guys back the other way and run it back to the nub side and try to outnumber you, and the way that they run it with their quarterback and their running backs, zone scheme, gap scheme, counter scheme, all of that. The way that they do all of that to give up just 124 yards rushing and only 3 rushing first downs, I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And I thought Oklahoma State tackled very well. That's been an issue with OSU in the past early on in their seasons, has been tackling. And I thought the tackling, especially in space, from Trey Rucker, Kendall Daniels, Nick Barton, guys like that, were very good. I thought we saw some newcomers on the defensive line like Iman Oates that I think is going to play a big factor this year. We saw Kendall Daniels and Colin Oliver kind of play different positions. I know Oklahoma State had to go 4 down a lot more yesterday because of the heavy personnel packages that South Dakota State likes to use. But we saw kind of some transitions, and I'm super excited about how Coach Nardo is going to use Kendall Daniels and Colin Oliver this year. I think he's going to be very creative with them. So, hey, with that, those are my initial thoughts. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to the highlights, and let's talk OSU versus South Dakota State. So South Dakota State got the ball first. They run a little outside zone play, and Trey Rucker comes downhill and sets the tone. Hey, man, to come downhill from your safety spot like Trey Rucker did, and then to finish in space, that is very, very impressive. And then, hey, this is just good scheme from South Dakota State. You put a guy on the inside slot where your safety has to play off of him. You just throw a little bit of an out route, and if you pitch and catch, then you're going to catch it. As far as the defense, you just try to tackle it and say, hey, make him do that 14 times and make him have to do it without making a mistake. Now we're starting to see exactly what South Dakota State likes to do. They like to throw the ball to their backs. We saw that to Amar Johnson. As a matter of fact, even though they had Isaiah Jacobs last year, that is in the NFL now, who is their leading rusher. Amar Johnson, actually, as a running back, was their 3rd leading receiver. So we saw them throw it to him out of the backfield. We saw Gronowski run the ball from the quarterback spot and then throw it to their tight ends, and then those quick outs to their slot backs. They love doing that, and then they love that counter game. And then here's that K-State pop pass. That would have been a momentum changer. It would not have been a touchdown, I do not think, because Cameron Epps was in position to rally and tackle the football. But as you watch this play develop, as I back that up, and we see how this goes right here on the fourth down pop play, that Gronowski just simply, actually the receiver just tripped. I think right here Cameron Epps was going to tackle that. It was going to be a first down, but not a touchdown. So, hey, a big momentum changer. Instead of it being a first down and South Dakota State going down and scoring, of which for South Dakota State to win this game, they were absolutely going to need to get the lead so they could use that rushing game to control the clock and to basically have the football all day long. Now, here's what I really like about the way that Oklahoma State used Brennan Presley. First of all, they lined him up in a bunch of different spots. He was the motion man where he would motion, and while he was motioning, that would give Alan Bowman the chance to read the defense, whether they were in man coverage or zone. And then they gave him the ball like in first down situations on like bubble passes and screens to where it was like an extension of your running game, and it would set up like a 2nd down and 4, 2nd down and 3, and then Ollie Gordon right up the middle. Oklahoma State's running game. See, there's another first down play where you get it to Brennan Presley, set up a 2nd down, and very manageable. That's just an extension of your running game. So Oklahoma State's doing a great job of using Brennan Presley. We're going to see the run game was super. I know it didn't, I think a little over 160 yards wasn't just incredible, but the scheme yesterday, the run scheme was very creative, and there is a 4th down to Rashad Owens. How often do we see Rashad Owens, the playmaker? This guy, he can post up like a tight end. We saw that he can take the defense deep on the long catch in the second half. And when you need a catch on 4th down, post him up in the middle of the field like a tight end, throw it to him, and he's going to catch it. Ollie Gordon, there's some play action to him, and pretty much Alan Bowman. This is where I think he's gotten better. Nothing is there. Just throw it away. It's not the worst thing in the world to be 2nd down and 10. Here's another creative way to use Brennan Presley to get yourself a little bit more back on schedule. 3rd down and 4, 3rd down and 5 is a lot easier to get than 3rd down and 10. And then Alan Bowman with the fade. Got to catch that, Rashad Owens. That is a high point. If there was one criticism I would have of Rashad Owens, it is that he does not high point the ball like some of the big receivers Oklahoma State has had in the past. So OSU has a good opening series, drives down the field, and kicks a field goal. And how about Logan Ward? He was 3 for 3 on his field goals yesterday, and that was a sight for sore eyes because losing Alex Hale last year, who was so good, you weren't quite sure how the running or how the kicking game was going to be, and he put all of those doubts to rest yesterday. Here is an outside zone. Got to tackle better than that. There is no way on a simple zone play that South Dakota State should get 8 yards on that play. And then here you go. They love to dump it down to their backs. But again, Kendall Daniels, I know that he has moved to linebacker, right? So he is playing linebacker here. But yes, he's lined up as a linebacker, but he has safety duties. And when I say that, okay, he's got pass duties in the flat here, and he's got anything that threatens in front of his face. So watch Kendall Daniels backing up for the pass here, just as a safety would. And then once he sees back out, drive on the run game. Yes, he's lined up as a linebacker, but he is playing safety, and just like Trey Rucker did earlier, he finishes in space. And when you have punishers that finish in space like Trey Rucker and Kendall Daniels, it makes it a lot easier to call defense if you're Brian Nardo. I guarantee you that. Here is just a nice little slip screen for South Dakota State on 3rd down and 9. They just outnumbered Oklahoma State. Kendall Daniels almost split that double team and got through to there to make that tackle. You're going to see Kendall Daniels right here on the side come right through there, almost got to it right there and tackled it. But hey, just a good play from South Dakota State. They pulled some linemen to get some numbers. As you look at this play, let me back you up just a touch. Watch them pull and release their linemen. They just have too many numbers for OSU. So sometimes you just got to give the other team credit. That's just a really nice setup on a 3rd down and 9 for South Dakota State. Oklahoma State rallied. Kendall Daniels, as you see here, almost made the play, just couldn't quite do it. And so from that perspective, I just got to give South Dakota State credit for dialing up a nice play and executing. So Oklahoma State with a 3-0 lead. South Dakota State now has the ball, and they're threatening. And then you have this right here. Another dump off to the back, and the thing about that is tackle. Tackle. Got to tackle. Oklahoma State in space. They did a pretty good job all day long of doing that. But definitely that is a big part of what you do. That's Jeff Roberson there. Hey, congratulations to him. His first real big action at Oklahoma State, the redshirt senior. And there is Iman Oates. I'm super excited about Iman Oates. But Roberson, linebacker out of Choctaw. Iman Oates is a big dude out of Tulsa Edison. He was the 5A Defensive Player of the Year. His last year in high school, he went to NEO. In 2022, last year, he was at Oklahoma State, and he was redshirting and actually was the Defensive Practice Player of the Week in the Kansas week. I am super excited about Iman Oates, big number 99, no doubt about that. And then this is just great coverage from Corey Black. The thing about this is experience too. So this is, again, 3rd down and 8. So Corey Black knows South Dakota State, they're not going to go for a deep shot here on 3rd down and 8. So he knows that the receiver is going to drive to the sticks and pretty much turn around. So guess what he does? He anchors at the sticks. Once he anchors at the 1st down marker, then he turns his hips and makes a play on the ball. That is just great recognition from Corey Black. That is just a lot of experience and understanding what the time and situation was and where the 1st down marker was, and making the first big, huge play of the game for Oklahoma State, because you kind of felt like if OSU could get the 3-score lead like they did, this was going to be a very difficult game for South Dakota State. And what a run from Ollie Gordon. I love this play. So this is just that cutback zone. So it's basically you're getting a bunch of double teams, and you're trying to influence everybody over here. Watch the line, step to the right, and then double team everybody to the right. See that right there? So you're trying to influence everybody, the defense, to think everything's coming over here. And then Ollie Gordon just cuts it back behind the wash. Your receiver sets the edge there. Ollie Gordon makes a guy miss. The next thing you know, you have close to 10 yards. That is great run scheme. Very great. And then right there, see that cut back again, that same play where he influenced everything back to the right. Ollie Gordon has a 3-way go. He can bounce it to the outside, he can bust it up the middle, or he can bend it back to the other side. And when you give Ollie Gordon a 3-way go like that, that's just a good setup for him. Now you're using Ollie Gordon in the pass game. Now it's 1st down and 10 again. You're throwing it to Gavin Freeman. By the way, last time Gavin Freeman played, he was in OU colors, and he was playing for OU, transferred to Oklahoma State in the offseason. So congratulations to him getting his first catch as an Oklahoma State Cowboy. And the thing to note about that is, let me back that up. Okay, look what down it is. It's 1st down, just like I mentioned with Brendan Presley. So guess what this is? This is just a run play. This is an extension of your run game. Let's make it 2nd down and 4. Let's make it 2nd down and 5, and let's stay ahead of schedule. This is just a clinic on how to call great offense right now. Casey Dunn is in a big-time groove. We're even calling quarterback draws to Alan Bowman on second. But again, when it's 2nd and 4 and you're that unpredictable, the defense doesn't know what's coming. Just about everything works. Boy, there's a great pass. Alan Bowman doing a great job checking down, finding Deshaun Stribling. And watch Stribling drag a left foot young man out of baby inbounds. And now you have 1st and goal, eventually not 1st and goal, but 1st and 10. 2nd and 3, throw it again in the flats to Brendan Presley. 7.6 points with the extra point coming. And now you've taken that 2-score lead. It's going to be a big uphill battle for the rest of the day for San Diego State. South Dakota State. I knew I was going to do that. SDSU gets me every time. It's going to be an uphill battle for them at this point as they are down now that 2 scores. And then here's that quarterback rush game. And man, don't you know, there's a Zegbo, young man out of Gannon University that came to Oklahoma State from Gannon University last year. Obi Zegbo, and he made a nice play on 1st down to get South Dakota State way behind the chains. Good play on 2nd down. And then he just let the running back out the back door. This just was disappointing. This should not have happened. I mean, this is not a complicated play. I mean, they're not pulling guys. They're not unbalancing the line. They're not running back to they're not doing anything tricky. They're just running outside zone, 3rd down and 10. And to be honest with you, they're probably expecting to punt. I mean, you have Kendall Daniels right here ready to make the tackle. But see, this running back does a great job setting Daniels up. Daniels doesn't know that he has a trailer on him. The running back does. So the running back is going to make Kenyon Daniels think that he's going outside to widen him out. And then once Daniels goes outside, watch the running back cut right back underneath that block right there. That's just a really, really nice job by a running back, setting up the block in front of him and then getting out the back door with a lot of speed. Amar Johnson's a good player. Again, he was the third leading receiver for South Dakota State last year. And then there is Gronowski. This is their bread and butter here. Watch them pull guard and H-back, set the edge with the two pullers, and then let their big quarterback, looks like Colin Klein running that play in K-State about 10 or 15 years ago. With two pullers in front of him, quarterback just kind of waits around till the pullers get there and then just gets behind them and gets 7 or 8 yards, and it seems like you can never stop it. That is great defense on that little zone slant that Oklahoma State's run several different times. Now there's that same outside zone play. This is simply just great speed from Amar Johnson. Let me show you exactly how impressive this is. Right here, Nick Martin, who has great speed. Nick Martin is in position to make the play. He sees the play. He's diagnosed the play. He gets off his block right there. Right there, he's off his block, and he is free and available, and he is actually ahead of Amar Johnson in terms of getting to the corner. But watch this. Amar Johnson just outruns him. I mean, I guess you could take a little bit better angle maybe, but Amar Johnson outruns Nick Martin to the near sideline. Now remember this near sideline tackle for Nick Martin. That sets up a second down and about 7. Watch this. Gronowski all the way to the other sideline, and then this is Nick Martin chasing down a running back, and in this situation, the quarterback all the way to the other sideline. So he went from one sideline to the other on back-to-back plays. This was a beautiful setup right here. Watch this. Gronowski is very good in scrambling. So watch, this is Roberson, Jeff Roberson, one linebacker. This is Nick Martin. See how he's back to pass right here? Guess what these two guys are? Look at Nick Martin's eyes. Spy. Look at Roberson's eyes. Spy. So they have a spy, Oklahoma State does, on both sides of the line of scrimmage. So this is the way that Gronowski is looking. So he sees Roberson right here. He's like, there's nothing there. I can't scramble there. So it's automatic to him. I have a spy right here. Surely they're not going to have two spies. Pull it down, run the other way. At this point, he did not realize that Nick Martin was a second spy waiting on him, and he is absolutely out of luck at that point. That is just absolutely tremendous scheming from Brian Nardo. That is great execution from Jeff Roberson. Great execution from Nick Martin to finish off the play. And now South Dakota State, they have to kick a field goal to move the score to 10-3. They make the field goal, and now with 12:15 to go, the first half, I should say, Oklahoma State has a one-score lead. So now under center for the first time, Alan Bowman with basically two H-backs, and now you're going to pull the guard and H-back. Now, I want you to recognize and remember this sequence. Watch the H-back and tackle guard both pull right here. Okay, so right there, what's going to happen is South Dakota State's just going to start chasing that from the backside, and Oklahoma State's not going to have anybody to account for them. So I want you to just kind of put that in your memory, so whenever we go through this, you're going to remember the adjustment that Oklahoma State had to make. This was a beautiful play. Casey Dunn is in an absolute rhythm right now. So right here, watch the two pullers. See very rarely do I see guard and tight end pull. This is a great scheme, and here's why. See these pullers? Why do you pull these pull these pullers whenever you know that the other team, whenever you know you're going to throw the ball? Because look at these linebackers. So as you have two pullers, these linebackers read those pullers, and when they see pullers, guess what they think it's going to be? They think it's going to be run, so they fit the run. Watch this linebacker here fit the run. See how he came up and fit the run right there? He's coming up and fitting the run, and now when he fits the run, that opens up this gigantic window to throw that slant pass to a receiver that is quite a bit bigger and more physical than the corner that is covering him. Now, one thing I want you to notice about this play, look at Alan Bowman. He is reading this linebacker right here. He is one of the best one-player read quarterbacks I've ever seen. So if this linebacker right here comes up and fits up on the run, then you pull the ball and you throw it. If this linebacker instead had bailed out and played pass, he would have handed the ball off. See, Ollie Gordon right here has his eyes on that linebacker too. If this linebacker would have bailed out and played pass, he would have handed it off to Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon would have cut it back and got behind his pullers. That is beautiful RPO football. You cannot stop that if the quarterback reads it properly, and like Alan Bowman did all day yesterday, distributes the ball. See him looking at that linebacker there, distributes the ball to the correct receiver, and then also executes, something that Alan Bowman did all day long. So now Oklahoma State is on the move again. There's that same cutback I just mentioned that Ollie Gordon would have cut back if that linebacker would have bailed. Ollie Gordon gets a couple of yards to set Oklahoma State up in a 2nd down and 7 with a 10-3 lead, 10:54 to go in the first half. Now you have an H-back right here, and you have two receivers on the near side, one to the far side. Now you're going to pull a guard and H-back. This is what I wanted to show you. Watch how they're just going to start chasing it from the backside. See how they blitz right there? 2 guys to the top, and the pullers just do not have time. 67 right there, and also I believe that's Jake Schultz pulling back across. They do not have time to get to that blitz. So that's an adjustment Oklahoma State's going to have to make. And the adjustment they make is instead of pulling both pullers, they start pulling one guy from each side. So it's going to end up being the H-back and play side guard instead of 2 guys from the same side. Oklahoma State makes that adjustment. I will point that out when we get to that part of the game. But a great job by Alan Bowman just getting it out quick to Brennan Presley, getting you a 3rd down. I like this. Hey, don't hand the ball off 7 yards deep. Just get the ball going downhill to Ollie Gordon as fast as you can. Get the 1 or 2 yards you needed. Get your 1st down. Get it going downhill, and let's get moving again. Here is another great job of just checking the ball down to your check down, your receiver, which actually is your running back at the time. So Alan Bowman, seeing that the initial play wasn't open, check it down to your outlet out there in the flats, your running back, get a 1st down, keep the chains moving. Again, distributing the ball to the correct person, which is why at one point Alan Bowman was 16 for 19. It's why he had 2 touchdowns, no interception. Again, nobody open, just check it back down again. It gets you a 1st down after the face mask. This is just a masterpiece of your quarterback, Alan Bowman, just absolutely going through the options of the offense and getting the ball to the correct person every time. There is that GT counter again. Oklahoma State's running zone. They're running GH counter. They're running GT counter. I believe they've ran Joe Michalski actually pulled 2 or 3 different times as well. So they're pulling different guys. They're running gap scheme. They're running counter scheme. They're running zone scheme. Right here, this is just power. When I say power, the only one that pulls is this guard. So they've run counter, they've ran power, they've run gap scheme, they've ran zone, they've ran their quarterback, they've ran Ollie Gordon. They've checked it down to Ollie Gordon in the pass game. They've checked it down to all their backs in the pass game. They've gone to diamond. They've gone 20 personnel, 21 personnel. They have absolutely mixed it up beautifully. And because of that, South Dakota State can't get a beat on this power play. So right here, actually, this is actually fullback and guard. So this actually is counter. It's FG counter, fullback guard. Watch guard pull, watch fullback. What's beautiful about the diamond is this fullback's actually going to lead up here. So if you watch this linebacker here, his eyes are going to be on that fullback. You're taught as a linebacker that fullback will take you to the play, right? The fullback on your side. So this linebacker is going to be watching fullback here, see him fit that fullback. And as he fits that fullback, now you have 2 pullers coming back the other way. Ollie Gordon just cuts back, gets underneath the pullers. Both their pullers, boy, look at that block right there. So you set the edge right there on the pull, and then you set the edge right there with your fullback that came through. 2 great, look at that pancake right there. 2 great blocks. Ollie Gordon gets through there, and that is 6. Oklahoma State now has a 17-3 lead, and you know it's going to be very, very difficult for San Diego State to come back when they're down multiple scores like that. But, hey, still 8 minutes and 35 seconds to go second quarter. Still plenty of time, and then they hit just a nice little crossing pattern. I mean, this is just sometimes you just got to give credit to the other team. This is just a really nice play. I mean, you're looking at a receiver from the top. And honestly, this probably isn't the best coverage from Oklahoma State as far as how to cover this. But if you look right here, you're giving a run look over here. So Safety is going to fit that run look. Because safety fits that run look, now this corner is going to have to chase this crossing route all the way across. See that corner? There's no way that corner is going to be able to keep up with that receiver. So at that point, you just got to give credit to South Dakota State, because also the only thing else that could have happened is linebackers of that side could have bailed and gotten your way, but you released your H-back to that side. See this H-back right here. Watch, he's going to come inside, and then he's going to whip back around. Watch this H-back take about 2 steps to his left right there, and then come back around and flood out. Now that linebacker right here, actually the safety over here, may have actually been the corner. I think it's a safety. Had to take that H-back that's out in the flats. The linebacker now has the quarterback. Nobody has this window, and you have a corner from the top trying to chase that from behind, and that just is never going to happen. So, yeah, probably not the greatest of coverage from Oklahoma State at the top of that, but I would say that is paired with just a really nice concept from South Dakota State that you just got to give them credit for. That is a really, really nice play for Oklahoma State there. Filling Jeff Robertson right there, the senior out of Choctaw, doing a great job fitting up on that play and stopping the run. There's that quarterback run again that South Dakota State loves to run. This is bread and butter. Again, watch them pull guard and try to set the edge right there, of which he did. But then Oklahoma State did a good job rallying from the secondary position and getting up and making a tackle on the quarterback there, Gronowski, and then just settle right in the middle of the field, just kind of on a little shallow cross, doing a good job. Just, hey, forward progress is all you need, enough for the first down, and then disaster hits for South Dakota State, no doubt about that. They had a bad snapper. This is stuff that they normally don't do, but they did here. Now it's of course Gronowski was able to recover and throw the ball away, so it's just 2nd and 10 instead of like 2nd and 50. Then they run that little quarterback power again. He gets it to a manageable 3rd down. Oklahoma State does a great job fitting up on the run. They force a field goal, of which South Dakota State hits right here at 48 yards, and now it's 17-6 with a little under 4 minutes to go. So Oklahoma State gets the ball back, and you'll see right here, this is right before half. They do a good job of getting a couple of first downs, which is, hey, yeah, you'd like to score, but OSU is going to get the ball to start the second half. What you really didn't want to do is you didn't want to go 3 and out and give South Dakota State field position and time to score again right before half, because, like I said, you're going to get the ball to start the second half, of which Oklahoma State did and went down and scored. So now, really what OSU did, which was just get 3 or 4, but I think 2 or 3 first downs, and then punt the ball, and there's a nice play there to Rashad Owens. That is just a really nice pitch and catch, just simply too physical for Owen. Nobody on South Dakota State's going to be able to cover him in a one-on-one situation there. But, yeah, you didn't score, but you did flip the field position. You punted South Dakota State all the way down to the 1-yard line, which meant that they had absolutely no ability whatsoever to score. Now, OSU did have, again, Casey Dunn is dialing it up. He's in a zone right here, and honestly, this play should score. This is as good as Alan Bowman was. This absolutely is on him. So you're going to swing out of back here to get rid of linebacker there, right? So this linebacker's gone. This linebacker in the middle is a spy, and so now you're going to slip Ollie Gordon out, and you're going to have lead blockers in front of him. Now watch right here. You have 3 lead blockers, Ollie Gordon, you have a receiver blocking, a linebacker here, and all you have left is 1 safety. If Alan Bowman throws the ball right here and Ollie Gordon catches the ball and turns this way down the boundary with 3 lead blockers, this is 6 points right there. This is 6 points if he throws that ball to the outside and Ollie Gordon turns the numbers, heads down the boundary, and scores. But look where this ball is. It's back on his inside hip. And because of that, Ollie Gordon actually has to turn around, stop his feet, and as he does that, that gives number 51 time to catch up. It gives the rest of the defense time to rally, and instead of it being possibly 6 down the far boundary, now it's just a play that got like a half a yard. That one's on Alan Bowman. That's one of the few passes yesterday that he did not throw very well. And then a dump underneath to Brennan Presley. 3rd and 9, hey, whatever. You didn't score. I know this is one where fans complain about, hey, why are you throwing it 2 yards when you need 9, right? I can understand both ways. You do that because you want to punt it. You have a 2-score lead, which is already tough enough on South Dakota State, and you get the ball first the second half. So just the last thing you wanted to do was drop back and pass in 3rd and 9, make a mistake, and give South Dakota State some stupid momentum that you shouldn't have. And this play just shouldn't happen. I mean, we talk about all the tricky stuff that South Dakota State does, pulling guards, unbalancing, running to the nub, running to quarterback, all that kind of stuff. Not here. I mean, this is just simply outside zone. This is a play right there that Robertson should have made. Very disappointing that you kind of let South Dakota State out of a hole there, because Oklahoma State still had 2 timeouts left, and you felt like if you could get South Dakota State to go 3 and out, you might get the ball back in position to go score again. But because of that, you let them actually have a chance to go down and try to be aggressive too. And if they hit that pass, they probably would have been close to midfield. Just a miss from Kanowski. He usually does not miss those passes. So at this point now, it's 3rd down and 10. South Dakota State, knowing OSU gets the ball first in the second half, has to stay aggressive. They have to keep trying to score, but they do keep the ball on the ground. Oklahoma State stops. That ends the first half, and we go to the half, Oklahoma State with a 17-6 lead. To start the second half, OSU gets the ball first. Outside zone, nice run, Ollie Gordon. The thing that you got to like about him, he's a big physical back. Now, see, there is that GH counter again and getting good yards. See, Oklahoma State's running GH counter. They're pulling the center. They're pulling fullbacks. They're pulling guards. They're pulling everybody. And then they're doing it. There's that little slant play again. Let me show you again. This is about the 3rd time OSU's run that. Now, see, this is tight. They're pulling tight ends. Tight end and guard pull on a pass play. So what that's going to do, watch this linebacker right here. See this guy right here is guarding. If this tight end goes out for a pass pattern, it's going to be this guy's cover. So watch this guy as the tight end pulls. Watch him come up and play run. See that right there? As he comes up and plays run, that opens up that window right there to throw the ball to a big physical receiver. That is just super well schemed by Casey Dunn. That is well executed by both Alan Bowman and also Deshaun Stribling. Now you're in good shape. 2nd down and 3. You set up a 3rd down and very short. Again, the second time on 3rd and short, you just hand the ball going straight ahead, just on kind of a dive play, right up the middle, nothing complicated, just trying to get 1 or 2 yards. And then here is another pull play, another counter play. Oklahoma State's counter game was very good. I know the rushing attack didn't have 1,000,000 yards, but here's the adjustment. So what they were blitzing it from this side of it where your puller was pulling away from, and then it was kind of messing up the mesh point. So watch, instead of pulling both the tackle and guard from this side, now you're still going to get a tackle and guard, but your guard's going to come from the play side instead of the back side. See right there? Let me back that up. See right there? It's the guard on this side instead of that side. So now you still have enough to peel back on that guy if you absolutely needed to. And Ollie Gordon slips up right up there up the A gap and gets good yardage. Ollie Gordon is headed downhill. You feel like if Oklahoma State can tack on a touchdown here, see that guard and tackle there, Ollie Gordon gets underneath him, makes a guy miss. You feel like if Oklahoma State can get in the end zone here, make it 24-6, pretty much this game is over, because South Dakota State, the way they want to control the ball, would be very difficult for them to come back. Got to catch that ball. Deshaun Stribling had one earlier in the game to Rashad Owens. Another thing Oklahoma State did very well, they used a lot of motion, lots of eye candy. There is a GH play again, a ghost play where you're pulling 2 guys back to the top of that. Oklahoma State used a lot of motion, and what that motion does is it allows Alan Bowman to decipher while the motion man is motioning whether the defense is in man or zone. This was a great job by Alan Bowman. This was probably the play of the game here. Oklahoma State, you feel like if you go up 24-6, you're going to control the game. It's 4th down and 3. Nothing is open. And then just give the offensive line credit. They gave Alan Bowman time. Let's go through this, okay? They gave Alan Bowman, here's check 1. Nope. So there's 1. There's 2. Nope. Here's number 3. Nope. Okay, now we're on number 4. No. Now there's number 5. He got to his 5th option. His line gave him time to get to his 5th option. Made a nice throw. Ollie Gordon did a great job getting his arms underneath that ball and bringing it in, securing it on 4th down. Swing it out to Ollie Gordon. Get her downhill. Get her in the end zone, big number 0, the Doak Walker Award winner from last year. Get in the end zone, young man. Atta baby. There is a 24-6 lead that you're looking for. 3 scores. Katie bar the door. And, hey, what I want you to notice right here, look at the blocking by your receivers. Right here, I believe that's Jake Schultz right there. And then also Deshaun Stribling. Look at number 1 right there, blocking. That is simply fantastic blocking. When you block like that for Ollie Gordon, get him in space, it is not going to be good news for the defense. So 24-6, for all intents and purposes, this game has been put in the bag unless you just really, really kind of just let things go way downhill like you did here on this possession. I mean, it's like, what in the world happened, guys? It's like Oklahoma State just let up just a little bit. But again, good scheme right here. You bring a field side blitz right here from Kendall Daniels, and here he comes right there. And because of that, now Gronowski's reading Kendall Daniels. Kendall Daniels right there is on a big-time blitz. And because of that, Gronowski pulls the ball and hits that little slant right there, and just like we've seen Oklahoma State do a couple of times, and just a nice play. So, just one of those deals to where I can't honestly tell you what the safety right here was doing going outside. I mean, he had no outside threat. He had no run threat to his side. So I have no idea why he was not covering that slot guy right there any better than he did. Just a mental breakdown. Hey, sometimes it happens in the course of a game when you have to defense 70 to 75, sometimes 80 plays, sometimes close to 100. I think it was like 70 some odd yesterday. Within those numbers, you're going to have a mental breakdown or two. And then here's another this is just a good concept from South Dakota State. Got to give them credit. Hey, we talked about they've swung the ball to their backs many times. So if you're this safety right here, you're going to see this swing action right here. So what you're going to think you need to do is drive down on the swing right here. See the safeties drive down on that swing? Okay. And then number 7 right here drives to Cameron Epps. He drives down this. Look at Cameron right here. Look at his eyes on this swing right here. He's going to drive down, have outside leverage on the swing, and then go, whoop, oh, dang, that's the bubble and go. Hey, good concept. You run the bubble, you run the bubble, you run the bubble, then you run the bubble and go. So sometimes you just got to give the other team credit. See the bubble and go? That's what I wanted you to see there. Watch this receiver. See, now he does a great job see right here, he acts like he's blocking, and then number 7's reading this guy. Number 7, Cameron Epps, has read run, and so as he's read run he's still acting like he's blocking even right here. He's read swing. That means, so you have inside leverage here, you have outside leverage there. Cameron Epps is getting ready to get outside leverage on that swing pass, and then it's the bubble and go. And Epps, you can see him turn his hips and go, oh, man, I just got burned. That is not a good feeling. All you can do is recover and rally the ball and hustle the ball, something that Cameron Epps did. So give South Dakota State credit on the bubble and go there. And then this is just a tremendous catch. Good coverage, great defense by Corey Black, just an even better catch by the receiver. So, again, sometimes you got to give the other team credit. So, kind of disappointing because you felt like going up 24-6. You took control of the game. You gave that right back in a 3-play score. Now you've breathed life into South Dakota State. Their fans are yelling, let's go Rabbits, and all of that. It's back to still a comfortable, in my opinion, a comfortable 11-point lead, but now you're not able to run the ball. It's all of a sudden 3rd down and long. You feel like, hey, a team that's won 29 games in a row, they're starting to feel it. They know how to close out games. They know how to win. Then you do this. Wow. What a pass from Alan Bowman. What a pass. Now watch this. This is just the mesh route. Most of the time, mesh routes come from an inside slot receiver. Watch the tight end right here. Tight end's going to come underneath, and we talk about all the time. Usually, the quarterback hits that guy over the top. Watch this right here. See that tight end come underneath right there? If he'd have hit the tight end right there, he was actually more open than he threw it to. So Alan Bowman's going to throw it to the receiver on the mesh. There's 2 little crosses to the top, and he's actually let the ball go before the receiver even turns around. I mean, the ball's basically out of his hands as he makes his cut. He gets it right to the perfect spot, and then Deshaun Stribling turns around, catches the ball. That is an absolutely huge first down in this game. Back to your GH counter zone slant or JH counter slant, again, where you pull the guard and H to get the linebackers to fit up. Once they open that window, you throw that slant behind it, and Oklahoma State is on the move again, up 11 points, 24-13, with 6:50 to go in the third quarter, and 2nd and 8 now. So trying to draw up another scoring option, and that's exactly what happens. Catch the ball, the playmaker. Touchdown, Rashad Owens, and the Cowboys regain that 3-score lead that they were looking for, that they had before. Last time they gave it up in 3 plays. This time they take control of the game. Rashad Owens, the playmaker, makes another play, and the Cowboys take control of the game. So now at this point, you feel like Oklahoma State has a pretty good control of the game. And now, 31-13, 18-point game. You got 21 minutes left. South Dakota State's going to have to throw the ball every down. So guess who that brings into the game? Colin Oliver. And I'll tell you what, you're not going to block Colin Oliver with a tackle. I mean, if all you're going to do leave on Colin Oliver is a tackle in a situation to where he knows you're going to throw it and he pins his ears back, that's not going to be a good situation. He's going to beat your tackle every time. That's going to happen, and your quarterback's going to go down in a blaze of glory, no doubt about that. So, it's a situation to where OSU knew that South Dakota State was going to have to pass. Pin your ears back. Oklahoma State has really good pass rushers, and because of that, Mark Gronowski is really going to start to feel the heat. Let's count this. 1 Mississippi, 1.5 seconds, and Gronowski is already thinking about scrambling because he knows he has less than 2 seconds to get rid of the ball. So now it's 31-13. Oklahoma State has the ball back. A little over 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. What a great catch from Deshaun Stribling, taking complete control of the game. This is the time to where the big back, Ollie Gordon, that's probably the worst run of the game for him because I felt like he should have, easy for me to say, but I felt like he should have cut the ball upfield and got 5 or 6 yards. But, hey, this is where your big back, Ollie Gordon, where the defense is tiring down a little. It's hot. They're cramping all over the place. If you want to believe they were actually cramping. This is where a Doak Walker Award winner needs to take control of the game. And Ollie Gordon absolutely does that. No doubt about that. Goes right down the field. Oklahoma State back down in scoring territory and really just continuing to put pressure on South Dakota State. And right here, this is just a great run. But this is a great play all in all from the offense. Watch Jake Springfield right here. Set the edge. Watch 61 right here. And we'll back this up and watch everybody. Set the edge. See how he's setting the edge right there? And because of that, that's going to give that cutback lane to Ollie Gordon. Fullback's going to come over here and kick out that end. See that right there? So now Springfield has the edge set. The fullback has kicked the defensive end out. That gives that cutback lane to Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon now gets upfield. Now you're seeing right here linemen and then also receivers blocking downfield. And when you have linemen and receivers blocking downfield, Ollie Gordon's going to do the rest. And to the end zone we go. Another part of that play that I want to show you as well. Watch backside right here. Double team to linebacker. Pancake. That is just absolutely beautiful. Show you that one more time because this is picture perfect. You're going to double team this nose tackle right here, right there. Double team the nose tackle. Here's your double team right there. And then you have a blitzing linebacker, and then you're going to scrape the backer and pancake him. Wow. What a great play for Oklahoma State. Now it is 38-13, and pretty much the game is game, set, and match at this point. And then here comes maybe the worst fake punt I've ever seen since 2001 when Oklahoma State fake punted when Les Miles was the coach at Texas A&M right after 9/11 when OSU was in control of the game and had no reason to fake punt and did in their own territory, didn't get it, gave A&M momentum. A&M came back and won the game. This fake punt right here from South Dakota State, in my opinion, rivaled that in stupidity. I mean, hey, this isn't a bad play, whatever. They're in scramble mode. They're down 25 points. They're not going to win the game at this point as the fourth quarter starts. But, hey, they're trying. Got to give them credit. There's a little flag route, 7 route, if you will, to a smaller receiver. That is a tough window to hit. And right here on 4th and 6, I mean, what? What is that? I mean, whatever. I mean, that's their problem, but that's just very uncharacteristic of a South Dakota State type team because That's just not a very good play. That's ugly football. But, hey, that's their problem, and it is what it is. Alan Bowman, again, right here. You have a 25-point lead to Gavin Freeman, again, second catch in an Oklahoma State uniform. You want to throw, of course, this is third down, but on the early downs, you want to throw passes that keep the clock moving. And here's the big part of this drive. How about that? 52-yard field goal. And again, this was a situation to where Oklahoma State, you just wondered what was going to happen this year after you lose your kicker from last year in Alex Hale. Logan Ward, how about 3 for 3 with the 52-yard field goal that we just saw? So that was simply fantastic. That was a lot of fun to watch. And so Oklahoma State now really just kind of executing on just about everything that they wanted to do and take a 41-13 lead. And it ended up being 44-20, but that's where we're going to end our coverage for the show today. So, hey, it was a lot of fun to watch yesterday. It was a great day at Boone Pickens Stadium. I was a little bit disappointed that a lot of the people left in the second half, whatever. Okay, I mean, FCS 1AA opponent. I think everybody felt pretty confident OSU was going to win, even at halftime. Don't do that next week. Don't do that against Utah. Everybody needs to stay the entire game. But, again, just to kind of recap, I kind of feel like Oklahoma State, if you wanted to nitpick and say, hey, what are some of the things they need to get better at, I would say the first two things were, although I thought the run scheme was very good, I think they need to execute better and run the ball more dominantly, and then also the bust in the secondary. You can't have 2 or 3 busts in the secondary and beat a team like Utah, or at least it'll be very difficult to do. So, hey, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope you tune in next week. Don't forget, we're also going to have our normal podcast this week with Chase Witwiska, and then also we're going to have Scott McKinley. Then also we're going to have an opponent preview. I'm going to try to get Bruce Howard on. I know he does some Tulsa Drillers work, so I'm going to see if I can get a hold of him. I can't promise anything, but I'm going to try my best to get somebody on for the University of Tulsa and get that game set up with an opponent preview. So until next time, I want to thank you for tuning in and say, go Pokes.